How are you this morning?
How are you?
Okay, so you're number one. And rather than waste any time, since you're here a couple minutes early, what you got for me? Questions, concerns?
The first question that I have, I just want to double check that we don't need to submit the homeworks
No.
like somewhere.
The short answer is no. No,
Oh,
if you look at the homework, they're all multiple choice, and I give you
yeah,
the answers, so it'd be kind of,
yeah,
I'm going to give you the answers and then have you submit the homework and go, "Oh, you did great."
yeah, true.
No,
No, but
I know some classes that the
yeah,
instructor has you submit homework, and
yeah.
that's just not been my thing. And the reason being is the exam you're gonna see mirrors the homework.
Oh, okay.
Matt, how you doing? Hello, Matt. Matt doesn't want to talk. No, the homework you're gonna see when you take the exam.
Mhm.
This is why I tell you, make sure you have the PDFs of all the solutions ready, because to be quite frank, maybe on the homework in a particular section, I'll pick examples 1, 3, 5, the odd ones, and then on the exam, you may see examples 2, 4, and 6. They'll be not exactly the same numbers, but the same topic, the same idea of how they're solved. You follow me?
Yeah,
I'm not
okay.
gonna,
Makes sense.
Good morning, everyone. Matt and Ms. Hayes. Matt doesn't want to say anything. Hello, Matt. Anything else you got for me? How you pronounce your first name?
Yola,
Yola. Okay. What nationality?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
What nationality are you?
Oh, Albanian.
Albania. Interesting.
Yeah.
What brings you to Brockton in Massasoit?
I'm taking some classes in order to get my CPA.
Interesting. Good for you.
Yeah.
How close are you to graduating?
These are my two last classes, honestly.
This and what else?
Computerized applications.
Interesting. Matt, any questions? Miss Hayes, I think it's Terry. I'm not sure her first name.
Yes, it is Terry. Thank you very much, John.
Yeah. What you got for me?
Actually, I've been practicing and I don't have any questions, so I was hoping to find out something new today.
Like a lottery number?
Yeah, that would be helpful. And the probability of that is.
Hold on just 1 second. My wife is leaving. All right, I'll see you when you're back. Hope she's doing well. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Hold on a minute. Father, come before, just thanking you, praising you for this day. Just go before our family and friends. Be with Paul and Izzy and Brenda and Karen, Aaron and Jacqueline. Just go before us, sir. We pray in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. All right. Sorry about that. My wife's just leaving to go see her mom at the nursing home. So Terry, you wanted to know something, everything's going well.
Yes.
I mean,
was
I think I've
hoping-
given you enough material. I mean, between, I try my best to give you all the resources, especially the voiceovers, how I go through the homework and explain how I got the answer, so it's all there. I was just telling, Jola, I guess it is,
Yeah.
Jola,
Mhm.
that,
Alright.
yeah, she was asking me about the homework not being collected. I said, well, the homework is all multiple choice and I give you the answers. You're gonna see when you take the exam, hopefully you can print out the PDFs of the homeworks, because what happens, the exam mirrors the homework. I'm not gonna give you homework and have you study something and have the exam on something completely different. Let's say, for instance, in section 3.1, I picked maybe questions 1, 3, and 5 from my test bank, and on the exam, you may see examples 2, 4, and 6. You don't know they're 2, 4, and 6, but they mirror. It won't be the same number, but the concept is the same. So if you can do the homework, you can do the problem on the exam. I'm not going to give you something completely different. That doesn't make any sense. That would be unfair, wouldn't it?
That's very helpful. Thank you.
I try my best, and it's difficult. I mean, people, this is a 14-week course. I mean, if we were doing this Well, in fact, right, if we were doing this intercession online, I mean, face to face, it would be we'd be meeting 10 days in a row, Monday through Friday for 2 weeks. And we'd be in class for 4 hours, so a total of 40 hours. So we're taking that whole regiment, so to speak, and condensing it, into 2 weeks. It's still 2 weeks, but it's all online. So you're basically doing 4 hours of work each and every day. So it's a lot. The good news is you get it done in 2 weeks. Bad news is you got to do it in 2 weeks. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Anyone else? Stephanie, questions? Matt's still muted. Stephanie is muted, so I don't know if they have any questions.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing? Hi, guys.
Hi.
Morning.
My question is, Professor, is so the test or the exam is like within the give me 1 second.
Take your time.
All that like we see like from chapter
Sections 1-1 all the way through 4-2.
4 to okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then some, in fact, I've already posted next week's. I say it's next week, but theoretically you could get, depending on when you take the exam. The exam is open from this morning at noon time until Monday. But if you take the exam, let's say tomorrow morning or this evening, second week's assignments are already posted, so you can get a head start on that, I try to post it all there, so if people have time to do it on a particular day, you're not waiting for me to publish the assignment. It's all there, all the course, all the assignments, everything is there for you, so you can get started and move on at your own pace. But you're correct, it's 1-1 all the way through 4-2.
Okay.
So if you looked at, in fact, let me do this. Let me share my screen here. You see my screen?
Yes.
All right, so let's take a look at this week here. And the last thing was yesterday. All right, 1-6. And if you look at the last thing that you were asked to do was to complete section 4-2 practice, and there's the voiceover. So the exam goes from 1-1 when we first started all the way through 4-2, which I call part 2. That's the or situation. What's the probability of this happening or that happening? Do you see it right here, 4-2? That's what you're responsible for the exam, from 1-1 all the way through 4-2.
Okay.
I'm open,
How
ask
many
questions.
question is
Go ahead.
the test, please?
I'm sorry,
How many questions?
35. In fact, let me take a look at it right now to access the test. Let me go to quizzes. Let me share my screen again. Are you still seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so right here where it says quizzes.
No, I don't see you squeeze.
You don't see my screen? Let me share it.
No. Yeah, it's locked until 11:59.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. It's a little bit scary though.
What do you mean scary?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about like, I know it like it's a 2 weeks course, and it's a
What
lot.
prompted you to take a 2-week course?
What do you say, dear?
What prompted you to take a 2-week
Oh,
course?
I do that before, so,
All right, so you know the situation then.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're not a stranger to this.
No,
Trying to get something done that we do in 14 weeks, you're trying to accomplish it in 2 weeks. You
Yes.
realize it's gonna be a lot of work.
yes, it is.
I mean, what's your major?
Oh, social and services.
How far are you along?
It's my last year.
Okay, well, you're no stranger then.
No,
Yeah, I mean, like I told, was it Terry? I said, hey, the good news is you do it in 2 weeks. The bad news is you gotta do it in 2 weeks.
yeah,
So there's, people, when you log in, I mean, you gotta realize, I'm seeing people that say, oh, well, I've never taken an online course. Well, maybe taking a 2-week intercession isn't the best place to start. I mean, it's I just, I can't apologize because it is what it is. You're trying to get something done in, 14 days. That normally takes, 7 times 14. I mean, or normally takes, 14 weeks. If you're on, if we were face to face, it'd be, twice a week. In fact, if we were doing this in class, it'd be 4 hours a day. I've done that many times. It's 10 straight days. You're in class 4 hours a day. So it has its advantages. And of course, like anything else in life, it has its disadvantages, Tis what it is.
Yes.
I'm open for questions from anybody. Feel free.
This is Terry. You had mentioned that the exam will come from the homework questions, but earlier in one of your presentations,
Yeah.
you noted that there were 2 screens that we should print and have available.
When I say print screens, I would say printing out the homework. In fact, let me share my screen again. Let me share my screen. Hold on a second. Zoom files. What I'm saying is these files, do you see these? Are you seeing my screen right now?
Right.
Yeah, what I'm saying is print these, have these by your side because the homework that I assign comes from what's called a test bank. So, it's not going to be the exact same question, but the DNA of the questions will be very similar. So you'll see, I would have this printed out because on the exam, you're going to see a question very similar to what you saw in the homework. In other words, I'm not going to assign homework and then give you something that's completely different than what you've been studying. You follow me?
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Doesn't make any sense. Why have you work on something and then give you something on your test that doesn't mirror what you've been studying? Doesn't make any sense. So if you have access to a printer, I would have, before you even start, because you got 165 minutes, which is what, 2 hours and 45 minutes, more than enough time. You got almost 3 hours. But the idea is to have all of your resources, all of anything that you printed out, any charts, whatever, to have them by your side. You don't want to be, because once you log in, the clock starts ticking. You can't stop and go take a ride to CVS and come back and continue on with the exam. Once you start it, the clock starts ticking. So you want to have all of your resources, any kind of notes that you've got, have them by your side because you're going to need them and you don't have time to go looking for them and go, oh, where is section 3.1 PDF? Because the clock is ticking. After 165 minutes, the exam shuts down.
Right.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you get online and there's always issues with online courses and you're trying to maintain security. And sometimes we have what's called lockdown browser. The lockdown browser is so crazy. In other words, a student can't go out and search the web. Well, I give you all the notes anyway. So what am I going to lock down? You've got all the resources. It isn't like you can't use this or you can't use that. And teachers, professors, and instructors are always concerned about cheating. Well, you can only do so much. But I will tell you this, and I've said it in my emails. For security purposes, once you answer a question, you can't go back to that question. So make darn sure that you're confident. But here again, I give you 165 minutes, which is what, almost 3 hours. Trust me, people don't. Occasionally people take the entire time. I have people that get through this exam in a half an hour. What I find interesting is even though it's a 2-week course, traditionally students are aware of this. They've taken this before and they do extremely well. That's been my experience. Have I answered your question? I forgot what the question was now.
That's okay. It's clear to me now. Thank you.
You're welcome. We're all here. Everybody has their microphone off. No one wants to show me anything. In fact, I'm not I'll start my video. I'm sitting in my man cave downstairs. So. Here I am. Quiet crowd. When do you folks plan on starting?
Still getting through the material since I just got
Access to it. Yeah, I
access to the
understand.
class yesterday.
Yeah, it makes it very tough. It makes
Yeah.
it very tough. This is why for the first exam, I've opened it up until, when is it, Sunday? Trying to remember now when
Was it Monday at
Monday, hold on a second. Let me close this up. And quizzes. Let me share my screen over here. Yeah, there it is. And if I click on it, it's open. Yeah, at noon on Monday. You're right.
Okay.
So
Great.
the first one I give you, you know, basically you get all of today, all of tomorrow, and then, you know, till noon. For the first exam, I'm giving you plenty of time. So I realize people are still getting ready for this. You follow me? So
Right.
because it's opened up in, you know, it's opened up in 45 minutes, doesn't mean you got to start in 40 minutes. Right? You may do it tonight. You may do it tomorrow morning, whenever you feel comfortable. But here again, I'll reiterate, make sure you have all your materials by your side so you don't have to go looking for them, because you just can't, tell the exam, oh, by the way, I want to stop counting, Mr. Clicker, Mr. Timer, stop counting. I gotta go find this. You follow me?
Right.
All right.
So the time in which you take it, whether you take it Saturday at noon or Monday at 6 a.m., will have no bearing on it, will have no weight on how on your final grade.
No.
Great.
I'm giving people plenty of opportunity. I can't do as much for the second exam because my grades have to be in. Let's see, on the grade let me go back here. Give me a second. And on exam 2, if I share my screen, yeah, on exam 2, it's a shorter time. You've got from 7 p.m. on Monday. What I'll do is a second Zoom meeting at 6 o'clock on Monday. So you got from 7 o'clock that evening until midnight the following day. So that gives you 29 hours. Not nearly as long as you have for the first exam, you follow? And the reason being is that I have to have the grades in, you follow? Hello? Hello? Make sense? Terry?
Sorry, I'm not very good with Zoom either. Yes, thank you very much. And then I had a question about the calculator.
Yeah.
I've only gone up to the end of chapter 2 so far, beginning of chapter 3.
You got a lot to do between the next couple of hours.
Oh, yeah.
You're not planning on doing much for the rest of the weekend, are you?
No, I'm not. No.
What's your major?
I'm doing the prerequisites for nursing.
And I know that the course was filled, but what prompted you to wait so long to join?
I didn't find out about it until Monday.
Been
And
posted,
it,
that's been advertised for a long time.
yeah, well, I haven't had access to that, and I've had other issues going on with my family life.
I
And
understand. Yeah, we all do. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, my availability became available and I grabbed the soonest thing I could do.
And I got you enrolled as fast as I could.
Yes, and I totally appreciate that.
Yeah. Now,
Okay,
you and I were going back and forth, and I'm saying,
right.
I appreciate these emails, but this woman would be better off getting in the course and doing the work and then having the, your emails were very nice and very polite. I'm saying, yeah, I appreciate all that. You wish my family well and happy new year, but lady, get started.
Get to the point.
Get to the point. Do it, will you?
That's okay.
You know, it's interesting, and I'll share this because oh, by the way, just as a disclaimer, I am recording this. And the reason I'm recording it is I'm not, picking a time to do a Zoom meeting is very difficult because you never know people's schedules. So I am recording this for people, let's say, for instance, that couldn't log in, either to be quite honest, couldn't be bothered logging in. And then the other situation would be people who are working. So I'm recording this, and I'll post it on YouTube and I'll send everybody the link for those people who couldn't log in. Everyone's got issues. I mean, let's face it, and not everybody's schedule is the same. So I do the best to accommodate everybody's schedule, but you just can't. I mean, even like doing it Monday at 6 o'clock, I'm assuming, that'll be a good time. People are home from work and everything else, but there's no perfect time, especially when you have 27 people. It's hard to do it when you have 5 people, let alone 27.
My concern about the calculator is that I have a broken hip, and a friend went out and got me the a TI 84 plus, and the
Good.
instructions are as
That's fine. 84 plus is fine.
okay. I don't know if it's my eyesight or maybe I was too sleepy at the time, but I was having trouble following the directions at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if there's any conversions that we need to be aware of in the differences between the TI3 and
No, the D83, if you had the 83, I have videos that show you the discrepancies. And the major discrepancy, well, I'm not even gonna get into it because you don't have an 83, so I'm not gonna
No.
confuse the issue. All right.
Okay.
If you had an 83, I would, I've got a discussion board that's there. No one's posted any questions on the discussion board. I received 0 emails for people asking me anything. So if there were issues, people should have asked me. I mean, I get back to people, as you well know. I got back to you within
Yes.
minutes.
Quickly, yes.
Yeah,
Impressive.
that's
Thank
what I
you.
do, I'm always on my computer and I try my best to do my job, which is to answer your questions, but I can't answer a question that no one asked, so.
Right.
Yeah, if you had an issue with the 83, you could email me, and I would actually, what I've done in the past is I've actually created a YouTube video for that specific question, and I create the video, I upload it to YouTube, and then I send you the link to the video, just to show you specifically your question. In fact, I got the 83 right, I got the 84 right here. If I share my screen for a second here. You see my 80, well, that's not 83, it's an 84 calculator.
Right.
All right, you see it right here and whatever. So no, if there are questions, I would answer them. But you got everything, everything is here.
Yeah. Okay. What about like back it's been a long time since I've used any kind of calculator.
Yeah.
Like I'm so used to doing my work on a computer, I'm used to being able to use the backspace key. So back to the last thing I did. And I haven't figured that out on the calculator.
I'm not sure I'm understanding your question.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. And the next is the clear button.
All right, let's say, for instance, I was doing something like 89 times 98. I had equal, you follow me?
Yep.
And I press clear, it just goes away.
Okay, now does it go from, it goes away from the screen at that time?
Yeah.
Is it still sitting out in memory?
No.
Oh, okay. So it's just, great.
Gone. You
Good.
can do that, or you could hit delete, 98, let's say divided by 6, and then hit if I went up there and I hit delete, I could do that. Yeah, if I hit delete, I'm seeing things that I had there previously. So
Right.
it's kind of in memory. Yeah, you're kind of correct there. Now I've deleted everything, so my memory is cleared.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
but chances are, you're really, let's say for instance, I'm doing, let's say I'm doing my, do I have anything? Let me first of all, see if I have anything in my list here. Yeah, I got values in L1. Okay. I've got a bunch of values in L1. All right. So let's say, for instance, I wanted to find the median. All right. So I go over to calculate one variable stat. It says, hey, by the way, where's your list? It's in L1. Now I don't have a frequency distribution, so I only have one list. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to come down to calculate. I'm going to hit enter. And there's my mean of the values in that list, 9.51. There's my standard deviation. I had 10 numbers in the list. My smallest number was 6. My quartile one was 7.8. My median, it tells you everything.
Okay.
And then second part. Now, let's assume, let me quit out of this. And if I went back to list, I could edit that list, and maybe instead of 7.7, I wanted 6.9, whatever. Okay, I would hit enter. And then I would do the same thing. I would go back to stat, arrow over to calculate, one variable stat, my values. I recommend people putting their numbers in L1, and if they have a frequency distribution, put the frequency in L2. And the reason being is, if you have them, let's say you've got values way over here and let's say L6. Well, sometimes when you go to one variable stat, you forget where your numbers are at. But if you always put them in L1 or L2. Now, here's something too. Let's say, for instance, I want to use L1 again. What I would do is I would arrow up to now where L1 is highlighted, and I would press clear and hit enter. That gets rid of those numbers for me. If I were to hit delete, what it would do right now, it would get rid of L1 completely. In fact, let me do it. All right, now guess what? Now I have no L1. To get L1 back again, I would have to go to stat, and I'd have to come down to setup editor. Hit enter. Now I went back to my list. You see L1 is back. So what I'm saying, if you want to clear values out, let's say I put these numbers into a list. 9, I had 6, I had 33, and I had 58. You follow me? Now, I wanted to use this list again. I would go above where it says L2. See where L2 is highlighted? I would press clear, hit enter. That gets rid of all the numbers. Another way you could have done it, you could have, let's say I have all these values in here. I could individually hit delete. You follow me?
Right.
That would get rid of it. But the faster way is just to go up here and press clear. That gets rid of all my numbers for me.
Okay.
YouTube, I mean, what can't you find on YouTube these days? I mean, to be quite honest, you could find out how to construct a nuclear weapon in YouTube. And people say, well, how do I do this? I said, did you happen to go to YouTube and just type in your question? You're working on this. I see people logging in at midnight, 1 in the morning. Well, guess what? I'm not available to answer email at 1 in the morning.
No.
But if you have a question with the TI, there are literally hundreds of videos on the TI on YouTube. You type your question in, you'll find, it may take you a minute or two, but you'll find a video, depicting on what it is you want to do with the TI. It's been around for so many years.
Right.
What I'm trying to say is, as a college student, the professor's job is to provide the best instruction he or she can. But there's times when the online course, you've got to be proactive. You got to go out and look for the stuff, and YouTube has everything just about.
Could I ask a question about the at least one?
Yep.
So when I watch the video, it makes sense to me, but when I try to do the problems on my own, I feel like I'm missing a step. So I've watched it a couple times, but I didn't know if you would mind going through maybe one of the problems together.
All right, let me call up let me get the, let me do this. You call up the worksheet with at least one problems, and I'll share my screen.
Okay, thank you.
See my screen?
Yes.
All right. Let's just start with number one. An unprepared student makes random guesses on 10 true false questions on find a probability of at least one being correct. Now, at least one implies one or more. So you got 10 questions. At least one means you got either one right or two right or three right or four right. You follow me?
Mhm.
Well, at this stage of the game, we don't know how to find the probability of exactly one or exactly two or exactly three. And then if we did know how to do that, we'd have to add the probability of one right with the probability of two, with a probability of three, and so forth. So the fastest way, the best way to do it is to say, use the complement rule. The complement of at least one is you get none of them right. All right. The complement of getting at least one, because at least one means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. The complement of getting at least one is you got none of them right. So applying the complement rule right here, probability of at least one is one minus the probability of no successes. So the probability you got one answer correct is one minus the probability you got none of them right. Now, the question is, are these events dependent or independent? Does the fact that you got the first one right somehow impact the probability of getting the second one right? Well, the questions are independent. However, I answer the first question, if I got a true false question. If I answer true on the first question, does that mean I can't answer true on the second one or true on the third? No. So the probabilities of getting them right remain consistent. It's a 50-50 situation. So probably of getting a none right is I got the first one wrong and the second one wrong and the third one wrong and the fourth one is what, 0.5 all the way through 10 times. 1 minus 0.5 to the 10th power is 0.999. And you think about that for a second. In a multiple choice question, there's always a couple of answers that make no sense. You get 10 questions. Even if my great grandson, who's 9 years old, right, he was doing, let's say, 10 statistics questions, true, false, the probability of getting him guessing one right is going to be fairly high. And you see the answer here, probably getting at least one right is what, 0.9999. It's almost a sure thing just by guessing. Probability number two. What's the question there? Question is, a study conducted at a certain college shows that 55% of a school's graduates find a job in their chosen field. In other words, if I'm a biology major, there's a 55% chance I find a job in biology. Find a probability that among 7 randomly selected graduates, at least one finds a job in his or her chosen field. Well, the probability of finding a job is 0.45. Probability of not finding a job is 1 minus that 0.55. So the probability of at least a person finding a job in their chosen field is 1 minus the probability that none of those 7 people find a job. Now, the idea is, are these events dependent or independent? Well, the
See,
fact that go ahead.
I'm sorry, can I just ask a quick question? When I
Yeah.
read two, I read it as a percentage, 55% finds the job.
So the remaining 45 don't find a job
Right.
because 0.45 and 0.55 have to add up to one whole.
Yep.
The probability of me winning the lottery is 0.2. The probability of me not winning the lottery is 1 minus 0.2 or 0.8.
Okay.
Those two have to add up to be one whole. A sure thing. Something's going to happen. Either I'm going to find a job or not find a job. There's always a little piece they leave out. So if I tell you the probability of finding a job is 0.45, you have to be smart enough to realize that the probability of not finding a job is 0.55 or the other way around. You follow me?
Yep.
These two have to add up. Probability of something happening plus the probability of the complement of that thing happening, the sum of those two has to be 1. So in the problem, I told you probability of a person finding a job is what, 0.455. Now you have to be bright enough to figure out that the probability of not finding a job is 1 minus that. 1 minus 0.455 is 0.45.
Okay, when I look at it there, it just says finds job 0.45. So that's why I just want to make sure I was
Well, do
doing
you see
it
where
right.
you see where I got the 0.45 from?
I do. It just looks like, to me, it looks like they were flipped. So that's why I wasn't sure if I was doing it right or.
Yeah, doesn't find a job. Now let me take a peek at this here. Oh, you're right. Yeah. Finds a job is 0.55. Yeah, finds a job is, yeah, this should have been the other way around. You're absolutely right. Yeah. This should have been find a job is 0.55, doesn't find a job. You're right. I flipped these. Yeah, you're right.
Because I got the answer D, which is close, but
Yeah, I should have flipped those. You know what's happening over the course of time? I made corrections and apparently I did not correct this particular one. And what did I have for an answer? 0.996. Yeah, that one there, I should have flipped it. I'll make that correction. Yeah, I should have flipped that one. You know, what's
could
gonna
you-
happen is a lot of times you're gonna, I've tried my best on any exam anyways, to make sure that sometimes you'll have rounding errors, but on the exam, you can pretty much be assured that you'll get the exact answer. You follow me? And then
okay.
if not, there'll be only one that'll be even close to it. Make sense?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I gotta make that correction. That one's.
Would you mind just walking through the next one then? I just
Okay.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around. I
Okay,
know it's
no,
1
no, I
minus.
understand. All right, because you got 4 different calculators. All right, 16 have defects and 30 have no defects. What's the probability of at least one being defective? So we're using the complement rule, all right? So you got 16 that have defects and 30 that have no defects. Let me scroll down here. Okay, so 16 are defective, 30 have no defects. So the probability of a good calculator is favorable over total. All right, so 30 have no defects. The probability of getting a good calculator is favorable 30 over 46. Probability of a defective calculator is favorable, which is 16 out of a total of 46. Now notice, nowhere in the problem did I tell you the total was 46. But you've got to be smart enough to take 30 and add 16 to get a total of 46.
Mhm.
Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Probability of at least one defective calculator is 1 minus the probability that none of those 4 are defective, which implies that they're all good. So the first one is good, and the second one is good, and the third one is good, and so forth. But unlike the true false questions, where how you answer the first one has no effect on how you answer the second, those guys are independent. Well,
Okay.
these guys are dependent events. Once I pick a good calculator out of the 46, well, guess what? First time out, I got a 30 out of 46 chance of getting a good calculator. I put that one off to the side. Well, guess what? There's only 29 good ones out of a total of 45. These are dependent events, so you have to account for what's happened previously. You follow?
Hmm.
All right. So you see,
That's the mistake I was making. I was doing it as independent.
well, here's the deal. Whenever you're given percentages, you always treat the events as being independent. And if you're not given percentages, you got to make sure you account for what's happened previously, which means you're subtracting 1 off the numerator, sometimes 1 from the numerator and from the denominator, as is the case right here.
Okay. So
All right.
percentages are independent and no percentage is dependent.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. That's where I messed up. Thank you.
Yeah, here's a case here, this last one here, you know, where you've got probably a good radio at 7,600 out of 8,000. Well, what's happening is by rights, these are dependent events, but what happens is the work becomes very cumbersome. So on one of my PowerPoints, I said, if the work is cumbersome, you treat the events as being independent, when in actuality, they are dependent. In other words, what I don't want you to do is go, oh, 7,600 out of 8,000, and then go 7,599 out of 7,999, and then go 7,598. You follow me? It becomes very cumbersome. So when things are cumbersome, when you're doing some things, 14 times, you treat the events as being independent, and in actuality, they are dependent. You follow? Because it's cumbersome.
Okay, that's if they're more than 5%.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you'll know it's cumbersome because I'm asking you to do something 10 or 11 times, like this
Right.
case, 7,599 over, 7,999. And after you do it 4 or 5 times, you're saying, I'm tired already. And I've only done it 5 times. You follow? That's
Yes.
considered to be cumbersome.
Okay,
All right, good question. And
Thank
these
you.
are things that, as I know we just got into this, and I'm not going to blame you, because by rights, I just gave this at least one to you yesterday. You follow me? So I can see where you wouldn't have emailed me and asked me that question. And I'll be very straightforward with you. There'll be one question on the exam dealing with at least one, just one.
Okay, that's good.
Well, experience has taught me that's one of the questions, even in class, people have issues with. And on the exam, people have issues with it because it's kind of backwards thinking.
Hmm.
And the reason we're doing is because we don't know at this particular moment. We'll know in section 5 too. We don't know how to find exactly 1 success or exactly 2. So you come at it, a lot of things in mathematics, you come at it the back door. The back door is you find the complement, you subtract that from the whole number 1, and you end up getting the answer you're looking for. Use the complement rule.
Okay. Thank you.
Here again, I'll say, make sure you have all those, especially for the at least 1 problems. Make sure you have that PDF. I'm hoping everybody has a printer. Or worst case scenario, you're taking the exam and at least you can call up the file on your computer, the screen, you follow me? I would say if you had the printer, to have the hard copy by your side. Hello? Make sense?
Hmm.
I know people sometimes don't have printers, but to behoove you to have, I would rather have a hard copy by my side versus having to open up. And then what happens if you somehow, inadvertently close down the exam? You follow me? It hasn't happened before, but doesn't mean it can't happen. A hard copy of the PDFs, and as you're going through the test, make sure after you do the PDF, you do the homework, is to watch my voiceover of how the answers were derived. I'll fix that slide. I thought I had fixed it by now, but apparently I didn't.
Oh, no
I had
problem.
them reversed.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out because I know
No,
you have
no,
to figure
when
out if
that
they're
happens,
dependent.
instructors are human like students are human. Instructors will make mistakes. I wish, if you had emailed me, I'll fix it now. I
Oh,
thought
no
I had,
problem. No, I understand. I just thought I was doing it. It's hard
No.
to understand that concept because you have to know if it's dependent or independent, and if it's, you're using the power of a number or if you're doing the calculations out. So
exactly. Percentages always independent. Because you can't subtract 1 because you don't know the total count. It just says 42% of the students in statistics did well. Well, how many students were there? 42%. Like, how can I subtract 1 from a numerator and a denominator when I don't know the total? I'm
Mhm.
giving just the percentages. So actually, life becomes easier when you're given percentages because you use that same percentage over and over again, right? Becomes an easier problem. Make sense?
Yep.
Rather than subtracting 1, 1 from the numerator, 1 from the denominator, and then doing it again and doing it again. When they're percentages, you just use that point, whatever it is, 9 times or 10 times, depending on how many times you're doing the trial. But I will change that. I will make the change so people are still doing it. I mean, you got until what, Monday? I forget now, Monday at midnight,
I think Monday at noon, maybe.
Monday at noon. All right, so you've got Sunday, you've got 48 hours. I see people logging in at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, you know, it's that's the beauty of an online course. Anytime, any place, you know? Yes, no.
Yes.
I don't know what to say. I'm waiting. I appreciate the questions I've had so far. Matt hasn't asked any questions. William is not asking. Suzette is not answering. So I'll take it that everything is going well. But
So far, so good.
yeah, here again, between now and Monday at whatever time. I keep forgetting what. Back, let me do this. We go back here to exam. You all know where to get the exam right. You know, it doesn't say exam, it says quizzes. That's how you access it. Yeah, so here again, it's open, yeah, so it's Sunday, yeah, you got 48 hours. So, yeah, tomorrow at noontime would be 24 and then Monday 48 hours. So what I'm saying is, so maybe you're taking the exam on Sunday at 8 o'clock at night. So between now and then, as you're still working in preparation for the exam, if you have a question, just shoot me an email and I'll, you know, answer it for you. It may be a situation where I can answer it in verbally, or maybe I'll create a video. Let's say it's something to do with a calculator. I'll create a little YouTube video showing you how I did it. Make sense? So I'm still available to answer questions up until you start the exam. You can't start the exam and then expect me to, oh, by the way, this is how you do it. That'd be funny. If you called up the exam and go, hey, number 5, how do I do it? I'm just having some fun. Is that clear? That you still ask questions between now and Monday at noontime?
That's great. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah. Very professional sounding voice. Is it Miss Hayes, Mrs. Hayes?
Soon to be ex Mrs. Hayes.
Too much information.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I
That's
apologize.
okay. Just call me Terry.
Okay.
That works.
I'm not gonna, whoops. Why did I even mention that?
Nah, that's okay.
I was gonna have a good conversation there and be in my big mouth. All right.
That's fine.
Okay. Moving on. Jeez. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Very professional sounding voice. You sound like a lawyer.
I have a very wide variety of experiences in my life.
Okay, I'm not even gonna go down that road.
Well, professionally and recreationally.
I'm still not going down that road.
No. Okay. Well, all right.
What do you do professionally?
Professionally, I have been an accountant, a programmer, let's see, an RT, radiologic technologist.
Can't keep a job, huh?
Well, that's what my daughters and my husband.
Oh, I meant that
say.
for.
However, the way I see it is that I've reached the ceiling as far as I can go.
But
And
you
then
did
what-
this all without a degree. But wait a minute, how did you become an accountant without a degree?
Oh, I had my bachelor's,
Oh, okay.
and
And I
that's
see that a lot. People have got the degree and they're coming back to.
Yeah.
Because they need something to get you. Now you want to go into nursing, is it, or?
yes,
Okay, so you need statistics. It's part of, yeah.
right.
All right, so LPN, hopefully to be an RN, hopefully to be a,
Oh no, I'm going
PA.
right for the RN.
I'm sorry,
I'm going right for the RN.
PA, come on.
Okay. Do you
Why
have it?
not?
Is there a PA curriculum?
I can give you a PA, no problem.
Okay. Because that
What I'm trying to say is shoot for the stars.
that's right.
Don't
Well,
limit yourself.
that's okay.
Are you taking the courses, the nursing courses at Massasoit? Are you going to somewhere else, one of the hospitals in Boston or what?
Well, my goal is to start with all the prerequisites, and if I have any time, start working on other nursing classes here. And I want to try and get
What about
in.
radiology?
Radiology, I haven't gotten positive feedback on.
Really?
Yeah, which
Very
is,
difficult to get into it. I know that.
it is, but when you get out, it's very difficult to find a full-time job.
That's interesting.
It's all part-time
Now,
jobs.
being so close to Boston, you would think, with all the hospitals.
Yeah, evidently they prefer managing their schedule with part-timers.
Well, what they want to do is not pay the benefits.
Yes, I know that exactly. Yeah, which is
Yeah.
why I'm interested in,
Get two part-timers and don't pay them any benefits and get the benefit of having somebody working 40 hours.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the way of the world. If they can get away, and it's, it's that space. Let's be honest. It's all about the do-re-mi.
That's right.
It's all
Bottom
about the
line.
money.
Yeah, so I've got a lifetime of healthcare experience starting, I put myself through school as an RT, as a CNA.
Okay.
So I started at the very bottom rung.
And we all start somewhere. Ain't where you start, where you finish it. It sounds like a cliche, but it's so true. I didn't go back to school. I got married right out of college and didn't go back for other degrees until I was in my late 30s.
Mhm.
But here again, yeah, it's life gets in the way sometimes and
Right.
you fit in what you can fit in. I mean, the idea of having the ability to, go for a master's degree right out of college is sometimes not available. You go back and, I tell people, well, I teach at Bridgewater State University as well. I teach statistics there. And sometimes people say, well, you go to Massasoit. Well, guess what? You're getting the benefit of going through and paying a heck of a lot less money. And once you're done with Massasoit, well, folks go on to a 4-year school and they've saved themselves thousands and thousands of dollars. I'll tell the story of my relative of mine who raised 3 daughters. Started out at BCC. From BCC, she went to Bridgewater. From there, she went to Leslie and got her master's degree and so on. It's not where you start, And
No.
people look down on a community college, but you can get so many courses out of the way, mandatory courses for cheap money.
Right.
Versus paying, some outrageous. I mean, kids are getting out of 4-year institutions with massive debt.
Yeah.
Coming out of college and you owe $100,000 in student loans. I mean, geez.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, it is insane. It is. So Massasoit is a way to start. If you can get to where you want to get from going to Massasoit, more power to you.
Well, thank you very much.
Folks, we're down to 9 minutes. If there's no more questions, I will post this video. I appreciate you folks logging on, but let me reiterate. All right. If you have any lingering questions, please, I'll be on my machine. I'm actually preparing for my spring courses, so I'll be on my machine answering emails. I'll be checking my email constantly, and I will answer any lingering questions. I will fix that at least one problem. I can see where that could cause some confusion. I thought I had fixed it, but I didn't, so my bad. Other than that, I wish you well. And here again, have all your materials by your side. There's 35 questions. And let's face it, some of the questions, I mean, are going to literally take, a minute to answer. But the idea is, if you come across a question you're having difficulty with, just realize that you can't go back, and that's security to keep. Let's face it, I have to maintain some security and as far as people doing things that are unsavory, so I protect myself that way. So once you answer a question, you can't go back. So pretty much be sure you're answering the right thing. Now, as soon as you're done, you'll get you'll see your answers. I get this a lot. People saying, "Well, I did badly." No, that's why I reiterated. There's no mechanism for any retakes or redos. We just can't do it in a 2-week course. So it is what it is. People say, well, can I do an extra credit? Well, no. I'm afraid not. So I try to be fair with the exam. You're gonna see that the exam will mirror the
Thank you very
homework.
much.
Anything else that I can answer for you? People are logging off as I see.
Well, I'm good. I thank you very much for all your help.
All right, I wish you well, and like I say, everything is open. Week 2 is open, so once you complete the exam, you get a little extra, because the thing, I think Friday is the last day of me posting anything, so I give you Monday to get all your materials, and the test will open up Monday night. Like I say, I'll be on Zoom next Monday at 6 o'clock. The exam opens up at 7 that evening, and you've got until midnight the following day. So it's not quite as long a period, but I have to do it because I have to get my grades in. All righty,
Great. Thank you.
quite welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.